Hello, everyone. Good day to you all. It's a beautiful Thursday, and we're excited that you join us even in this wonderful meeting. Apologies that we're starting 8 minutes behind time. We're trying to wait for others to join, but right now we can just start. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for honoring our invitation. I can see everyone. Please kindly drop your names, organization, and location on the chat box. So do you know that data can be made alive through storytelling that informs decision for adolescents and even young people in the world? For us as Stand With a Girl initiative, just like yesterday when it all started, today we are excited to officially launch the Storybooks. Having gone through a period of 5 months in 5 states with amazing state actors who contributed meaningfully to the success and creation of the storybooks. We truly appreciate them, and we're excited to have you join us. Today, this is going to be a remarkable event because this is something we've all been looking forward to, and today is the day that we are going to launch the storybooks. So join us even as we take you through this amazing journey. I trust us. We're here to serve you, and we're here to give you the best that you're looking for. So right now, please kindly check on the chat box. The attendance sheet for this event is there. Please click on the link, and then it will take you through the process of giving us the information we need from you. Thank you so much for joining us. And I would also like to let you know that this event is being recorded. We're taking a recording of it. And so we would just want to inform you so that you have that information. Right now, I will take you through our agenda, what we have for you today. So we'll be taking the welcome and introduction. Of course, that's what we're doing right now. And I had earlier told you about why we're here today. I told you that we're here to launch the storybooks at the same time, share project outcomes with you, because we see that it is important that we make the public know that this is what we have done. This is what went into the project. And today we're excited to let you know about that. And then we would be having our welcome address and goodwill messages, followed by the overview of the Data Made Simple projects. When it's time, we will introduce properly who would be taking all of these sessions. And we will be going into the project dissemination. Of course, I know you all are waiting to see how did we come about this amazing storybook. Just stay calm as we take you through this journey. And we will also, like I said earlier, that this wouldn't have been possible without the effort of these people we work with in 5 states in Nigeria. We will be hearing from them how this project has impacted them and what they will do going forward, even with this information and knowledge they've gotten. And of course, we will officially launch this project. And may I also tell you that to officially launch this project is from the Federal Ministry of Health, Nigeria. And of course, having launched the storybooks, we would want to hear from you how you feel that the storybooks would make impact and how you feel that you can ensure that the project is sustainable and how you can be supportive to see that these tools are effectively used for decision-making for adolescents and young people. Thank you so much, everyone. Like I told you, we'd be having a good time here, and particularly because we are launching this, and it's an exciting moment for us. I would like to welcome all our stakeholders, our funders, our partners, and the state actors, and the amazing young people. The reason why we have gathered today, they are all here. We welcome every one of them. Right now, we will be going into the welcome address and goodwill message. And the first person to do the goodwill message is Anne Balatsera, who is the Senior Program Officer, Knowledge Success, John Hopkins Center for Communications Program. Let's make welcome Anne. Thank you so much. We're glad that you're here. Thank you, Anne.
Hello, thank you so much for that great introduction. I am very excited to be a part of this launch event today. I want to first start off by thanking the entire Stand With a Girl team and Data Made Simple team for leading this initiative and inviting Knowledge Success to provide remarks. So as was mentioned, I'm Ann Ballard-Sarah, and I'm the team lead for an activity that we have under Knowledge Success called The Pitch. And Knowledge Success is a USAID funded knowledge management project, and our goal is to make it relevant, easy, attractive, and timely for family planning and reproductive health professionals to find and share the information that they need. And we host a regional competition that's called The Pitch to find and fund innovative knowledge management solutions to support professionals working in family planning and reproductive health. And the SWAG initiative was one of 2 knowledge management champion innovators from sub-Saharan Africa that was selected to be awarded funds by USAID and Knowledge Success in order to implement your knowledge management innovation, which was the Data Made Simple activity. And in just a period of 5 short months, the Data Made Simple project was able to lead interactive workshops to create 5 storybooks depicting AYSRH data from 5 different states in Nigeria. And these storybooks make data accessible to a variety of audiences, and more so, they make data relatable to a variety of audiences, which is incredibly important, as you all know. And while each state definitely has a different story to tell and different data to highlight, there are recurring themes that happen across the different stories, and those recurring themes become apparent when you read the stories as a series. And personally, after reading the entire series, I did find myself still thinking about the stories several days later, which I think goes to show the staying power that storytelling has. So we're very excited to see how these storybooks are used moving forward and whether the initiative is able to scale up to additional states in the future. And before I end, I just want to say that if you know of any other organizations that have an innovative knowledge management idea to support those working in family planning and reproductive health, I encourage you to invite them to submit an application to the Pitch Regional Competition. Season 2 is currently ongoing and applications are due tomorrow. So thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words, and we're very happy to be a part of the launch event today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne, for that beautiful goodwill message. Thank you for your support so far from the start, even at this point in time of this project. Thank you so much. We appreciate all that you've been doing and you will still do. And like you've all heard, it is not just enough to write the storybooks, but it's important that these storybooks are effective tool for decision making and of course, for the young people that we are here to serve. Thank you so much. And you've heard, of course, from Anne that the season 2 of the pitch is out and it will be closing up tomorrow. So if you have that beautiful idea, why not go ahead and go for it so that we can always make the world and even this country a better place for young people. Okay, we were supposed to have Dr. Gertrude of Odezugo of USAID Nigeria, but she will be joining us later. I would like to welcome the program officer for this project in person of Ethel Osegaliata, who will be taking us through the overview of the Data Made Simple. Of course, I know you're excited to hear about how did this project come about. So you will be hearing from her even as she comes up.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Ethel Osegale. I'm the program officer for the Data Made Simple project, and I'll be giving a brief overview of the Data Made Simple project. The SWAG initiative implemented the Data Made Simple project in 5 states, which were Edo, Taraba, Ogun, Plateau, and Niger states. And the project was supported by the Knowledge Success of Johns Hopkins University for Center for Communication program and funded by the USAID. The project goal was to ensure that adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health data are used for decisions that help young people access sexual reproductive health services and information. And the objective was 1, to ensure that youth pay more attention to data on adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health. Then 2, to strengthen the capacity of the state actors on data for decision making. And 3, to use adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health data to tell stories that are compelling, catchy, friendly for decision making. For us to be able to achieve the goals and the objective, we're able to, one, first, with the approval from the primary healthcare boards, agencies, and ministries, we're able to work with the team was able to work with the state adolescent desk officers in the selection of this wonderful 25 youth data advocates. And in the selection, we looked out for the age of 18 to 35, and also their skills and creativity in data. And also we looked at for their knowledge on adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health. And we also selected youths that were in different youth network, and also youth from state technical working group for adolescent and development, because we're also looking at the sustainability process. The next thing we're able to do after achieving that was the data on Aysrh issues. So the team worked with adolescent data experts in sourcing data on adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health. And the data experts sourced from existing data source, which was the Nigerian Demographic Health Survey. And they were able to bring out key issues on adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health data, and also bring out data backing those key issues. And when this was done, they collated and also reviewed those data. So the team now also sent the data to the state M&E for validation. And you know that we can't work in the states that don't have approval from those data. So when those state approval were done in those states, we're now able to move to the next activity. And the next activity was to build the capacity of the state actors. And how were we able to achieve that? First of all, we held a 3-day capacity training. And in that capacity training, we're first able to strengthen the capacity of state actors on knowledge management, which is very important for every organization. And also the team engaged the state actors on exercises using the value clarification training. And we're able to check their clarification on adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health. Thirdly, because we're working with data, telling a story from the data, we were able to train them and strengthen their knowledge on data visualization and storytelling. And when all of this was done, we moved on to the development of the storybooks. And how were we able to achieve this? First of all, the state M&Es from the various implemented states were able to present those data that were validated in those states. And the data validated showed the key indicators and also the data backing up those issues. So the state actors were able to come together to see how they can have an understanding of the data. You can't tell a story without understanding the data. So it was really important for the state actors to have an understanding on it. And after they had an understanding of the data, these key indicators were now grouped into 3 categories, which were before sex, during sex, and after sex. I'll use an instance. If a key indicator is on teenage pregnancy, among the categories I've listed, before, during, and after sex, it falls in category 3, which is after sex. So all the key indicators listed were grouped into those 3 categories by the state actors, after which the state actors were now divided into those categories, and they were now able to come up with beautiful stories from those categories. And after those categories, stories were being developed, where the state actors also came together to merge those stories into one. Is that not beautiful? So to move ahead, we're now able to work with the state actors to also insert all those graphic content, because from the objective I listed, I said we wanted to translate stories into something friendly, catchy, and also compelling for decision makers. So we're able to, one, put a picture content into the story, bring out the adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health issues, and also back those issues up with data, and also call to actions. And when all of this was developed, we're now able to, the team was able to now translate these stories into indigenous languages like Hausa and Yoruba. Edo would have been translated to Pidgin, but the state actor suggested that the Pidgin is preferred speaking than here writing or reading. So we had to leave that aspect. But these stories were now all beautifully developed and ready for dissemination. So how were we able to disseminate these storybooks? The team worked with the youth data advocates and adolescent desk officers in selecting the decision makers in the state level. And they were all selected from the ministries, the departments, agencies, traditional leaders, religious leaders. And when all of this was done, the dissemination process was made, and the dissemination process was done to advocate for better youth outcome using our storybooks to speak about young people's access to adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health and services. And after this was done, the commitment from the decision makers now will also help promote that of the young people's access to sexual reproductive health and information. And even in the policy on adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health, it will also show in our policy, 2021 policy, which is also a good way for the growth of the adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health. So we are excited about this launch. And to end this up, we are here for the dissemination and launch of the storybook. And we know that with this innovation, decision makers at the national level will pay more attention to adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health data, and also for interested organizations to adapt or adopt different means at which they can also use these stories to tell, these data to tell stories. So thank you.
Isn't that beautiful? Yes, it is beautiful. Thank you so much, Ethel, for, I'm sure that the participants felt like they were in the States while you were taking us through all that happened even in the States. Thank you so much for, giving us that broad overview of what went into the success of the storybook. All right, if you're just joining us, thank you. You didn't miss too much, but kindly go on to the chat box. Please tell us your name, your organization, and your location. Of course, we're interested to know where you're joining us from. And of course, there's the attendance sheet where you can put in your details. Thank you so much. While Ethel was giving us the project overview, we had the presence of the Senior Reproductive Health Manager in person of Dr. Gertrude Odezugo, who is representing USAID Nigeria. She will be taking the Goodwill message. Remember, we told you that we would have two people taking us through the Goodwill message. We've heard from Anne Ballard, and now we will be taking from Dr. Gertrude Odezugo, the Senior Reproductive Health Manager, USAID Nigeria. Thank you, Ma. You're welcome. Please, let's have you for the Goodwill message.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, SWAG Initiative. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm actually in another meeting, but of course, I'd like to definitely crave your indulgence and say I recognize the presence of the representatives of the government of Nigeria, including the permanent secretaries here, my colleagues from USAID and other offices, members, partners of from Knowledge Success, SWAG Initiative, other donors and other partners. Just permit me to please stand on protocols that have already been established. Like the last speaker already mentioned, my name is Gertrude Odezugo. I am Senior Reproductive Health Manager, and I'm representing the Health Population and Nutrition Office of USAID Nigeria at this dissemination event. At USAID, we believe that societies are inclusive, that are inclusive of their diverse populations are more likely to be democratic, participatory, and equitable. They are also more likely to meet their developmental goals. We are in support of Nigeria's efforts to advance equality, leadership, and support of women, youth, persons with disabilities, religious minorities, and other marginalized populations to reach the country's full potential and achieve true self-reliance. The Data Made Simple projects, implemented in partnership with Stand With a Girl, a youth-led initiative, is one of such examples of our commitments to improving adolescent health programming in Nigeria. The SWAG initiative, as it's called, as you will hear during this dissemination, works with adolescent health officers in 5 states, other youth data advocates and M&E officers to interpret existing adolescent and youth sexual and reproductive health data that were sourced from routine health information systems into storybooks. These storybooks have been used to engage policymakers at state level, community gatekeepers, and other donors and partners, culminating in the development of actionable plans to promote desired Aysrh outcomes. And this is in line with Nigeria's 2021 National Adolescent Health Policy and youth participation in data for decision-making goals. We are therefore excited, just I'm sure that you all are, to hear more about this and hopefully garner enough interest for potential scale-up by other states, donors, and other partners. We are sincerely grateful to the Federal Ministries of Health and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the state's primary healthcare development agencies, for their continued leadership and coordination, and to the various youth-led organizations, the FPAY, SRH partners, and the valuable inputs by adolescents and youth themselves. And very importantly, we would like to thank the governments and community leaders of Edo, Niger, Ogun, Plateau, and Taraba states for their remarkable leadership and drive exhibited towards promoting young people's access to sexual and reproductive health information. We look forward to hearing more in the future of the sustained impact this will continue to have in responding to adolescent health and rights in Nigeria as a whole. And USAID, is committed to continuing our partnerships with governments at various levels and other institutions to achieving this and having this impact. Thank you so much for your audience. Now over to you, Margaret and Tim.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gertrude Odezugor, the Senior Reproductive Health Manager, USAID Nigeria. Thank you for those words. And thank you for also reassuring us that USAID is here to support young people. And of course, this can't be done alone. You mentioned that the Ministry of Health would also do so much more, even in achieving all of these goals. Thank you so much. And there was one thing you said, that as much as we're looking forward to, we want to launch the storybooks, it is important that we sustain it. And all that will not be possible without the support of everyone here to ensure that every young person have access to the services they need as at when due. Thank you so much once again for that beautiful goodwill message. I hope you all are having a good time. I am. I don't know about you. So we will right now move into the project dissemination. Remember, I told you when we started that we have 2 things we need to achieve in this meeting to launch the storybooks and to also let you know the project outcome. You've heard from Ethel, the program officer, what went into this project. It would also be important that you hear that, oh, how did we come about this? What we will do going forward, and all of those things you need to hear about the Data Made Simple project. Right now, I would like to welcome the Executive Director of Stand With a Girl initiative, in person of Margaret Bolaji Adegbola, who will be taking us through the project dissemination, the outcome, and of course, how we intend to sustain the Data Made Simple projects. Thank you, Margaret, you're welcome.
Good afternoon from Nigeria, everyone. It's been a great pleasure to be here, and thank you everyone for your words so far, for joining from wherever you're joining from. We're really excited that you're able to make it to the launch of the storybooks as well as the project dissemination. We're indeed very grateful. 5 months ago, we were gathered to kick off this project, and we're grateful that while it really looks like a short time, it has come and passed, but we're most grateful that we're able to achieve some key results, even as we look forward to the sustainability and everyone embracing and accepting that it is important that young people, adolescents and youth have access to sexual and reproductive health and information and services, including family planning. So for the Data Made Simple project, the main innovation, which we're glad that we're able to achieve that, is to produce adolescent and youth sexual and reproductive health storybooks in English, basically from the 5 states, just like everyone has mentioned, but to also translate it into indigenous languages. And this was very important because we're also going to be reaching decision makers at the grassroots. So whether we're looking at traditional leaders or religious leaders, youth leader, women group leaders, it was important that we meet everyone at the point that they're able to relate with data. For us, just like the name, it was making sure that data becomes so simple. And you know, in our palace here in Nigeria, we say data we know hard. That data that it's not difficult to comprehend, because only when it is not difficult to comprehend will it lead to decision making, will it lead to programming for adolescents and youth. What were the key results that we were able to achieve with this project? One is that in 5 states in Nigeria today, and those states we've continued to mention them, and it wouldn't be enough to mention them over and over again because they've really offered tremendous support, and over time they've really shown how so much interested they are in adolescents and youth in this state, and that is Niger, Edo, Ogun, Plateau, and Taraba states. So in those 5 states, we've been able to translate adolescent and youth sexual and reproductive existing data into simple, friendly, catchy, and responsive storybooks for decision making. The storybooks will all be able to access once we launch the storybooks. Also, we were able to improve the knowledge on adolescent, youth, and sexual health data for decision making and programming for 65 key stakeholders and more, but particularly 25 youth data advocates, 5 adolescent health desk officers, 30 M&E officers, both at the state and local government level, as well as 5 reproductive health, and in some cases, family planning coordinators in those 5 states. And lastly, on the result is that we were able to engage decision makers using these storybooks so that we can promote young people's access to sexual and reproductive health and information and services, remembering that the key content of the stories actually represent the struggles of adolescents and youth in trying to access services. And back again, we know that, yes, we're so excited about the results. We encountered some challenges, which it's worthy to note. So one was that we had some delays when we started, and those delays came from trying to ensure that we have the suited young people. So when we set out, we wanted to be so sure that we were working with youth data advocates and looking at Nigeria's constitution 18 to 35. So we were deliberate, and we had to work with the state to ensure that every young person that was selected as youth data advocate, it falls between this age range. So that kind of brought some delay, but of course we're able to move through working with the state. And we want to say thank you again to the state for supporting us through this process. And also, one of the implementing states, Plateau, we're all familiar with the unfortunate incidents in the country, actually experienced civil unrest due to criminal activities such as kidnap, for ransom, and banditry. And of course, at that point, we had to re-strategize, also stay abreast with updated security information, postpone the meeting, but we're grateful that it later held. And while we're praying for peace and peace in our country, it was such a challenge at that point. And lastly, for the challenges was that for the local government monitoring and evaluation officers, they were unavailable in some of the states at some point of the training. and that was due to other competing demands. Again, this brought back the issue around ensuring that while we train, we also look for opportunities to find out how we can provide on-the-job training, so we don't have to take them away from their jobs in order to train them. But because this kind of training was very peculiar, looking at visual data visualization, graphic design, it was necessary to move them from that point. And in some states, at least for one of the days, we had them off because they needed to attend to other issues. So moving on, we would like to also talk about our lessons learned. And this for us, especially as a youth-led organization who is looking after learning from every process and also getting to do better, it was very important for us. So one is, it's important that as an organization, we knew this even when we started, but we learned more and it was strengthened. And it can never be overemphasized that it's important to engage data experts who are familiar with Aysrh data and relevant data sources. So because we were looking at, we know, and everyone I think is familiar with the fact that we generally have paucity of data for young people 15 to 24. Most times you get data which are 15 to 49, women of reproductive age, but for Aysrh, we have some data, but they're quite few. So it was important to get an expert who was familiar with the different data sources, either from NDHS or we're looking at NHMIS or the mixed survey and every other thing. Another thing we learned that was very important for us is that it was important to engage the services of an illustrator, and in some cases we say the graphic design from the project inception. So while we were thinking through how best to go about making this data simple with very catchy images, we felt it was okay to have an illustrator at the end of the project when we have the content of the storybook ready. That's where we have just a fresh brain that brings in that fresh idea. While that was good in itself, it led to several delays because it was at that point we were trying to figure out, and not also forgetting, as Ethel mentioned, that the description of the images were actually given by the states themselves. And the one thing we also noted is the fact that the ball was in the youth courts. They actually took charge of the project. So really, I think it's okay to say it's the state project, not SWAG's project. Also, we saw that it was important to partner with the states to set criteria for youth data advocate selection. So we wanted to be sure that we're getting the round peg for the round hole. But it was also important for us as an organization to provide technical assistance to the youth, the adolescent desk officers in the states to be able to set this criteria so that the right set of young people who are also coming from existing youth network, especially for sustainability. So this has really helped us in terms of ownership and sustainability of the project. Another lessons we learned was the inclusion of value clarification exercise in the training content. So we were basically going to be supporting and strengthening the capacity of the state actors on visualizing data, simplifying it, and all of that. But we then, at some point, decided to include value clarification exercise on adolescents and youth sexual and reproductive health. And it turned out to be really great because it helps us to identify, not just us, every participant, to identify root causes and beliefs for their Aysrh actions and behavior, which largely help us to a great extent be unbiased when we were developing the stories. And lastly, on our lessons learned, it's engaging youth data advocates who are part of an existing structure in the state, which is the Technical Working Group on Adolescent Health and Development. At some state, they also had the life planning ambassadors and also young people who were part of existing networks, and how this was able to help us in ensuring that they paved a way for us to leverage on existing platforms. Remember that while it was great to produce amazing storybooks, it's also important that the storybooks get to the right decision makers so that they can make right decisions. So having these young people from existing networks was just a great idea to help us publicize and also engage existing decision-making platforms in the state. And with regards to sustainability, because again, after 5 months, then what? It was, for us, implementing in those 5 states really helps to SWAG had some form of relationship, and we could even term it as strong with these different states that we worked in, having worked with them in the past. But this project really helped us to maintain the strong relationship with the government, but also with youth-led civil society organization. And interestingly, because we have passed on some skills and knowledge, the youth data advocate particularly were committed to cascading this knowledge to other members of their teams or groups or organizations. And we are offering to continually provide support. Thankfully, you can provide virtual support almost at no cost. So we're looking forward to continue to work with them to ensure that and we know data is alive. So every time data comes in, so how do we continue to make this data simple? So having ingrained that really help us to do so. Another way that we are looking at sustainability, or we were able to wear that sustainability cap, is by ensuring that we receive commitment from the leadership of the State Primary Health Care Board and State Ministry of Health in the case of Edo State. So we were really welcome, and at this point, I'm still going to say thank you, and we won't say thank you enough to the leadership of the State Primary Health Care Boards and agency. They were very receptive, made commitment to ensure that it continues. And we're glad that in states like Ogun, for example, they went further to commit to including simplifying this data even into the annual operational plan. So that for us is also very great. And lastly, the fact that we did not just decide to pick people from the blues, we decided to work with existing monitoring and evaluation officers who are part of the system, and leaving the skills with them would help them to simplify data, but at the point of simplifying data, it also helped them to internalize this AYSRH issues. And it's important that while I don't want to sound our trumpet too high, we'll get to hear from the state's team, but the process was a very revealing process that really helped people to see how best they can continue to use data. And lastly, next steps. So where do we go from here? So I'm excited to let you know that as we speak right now, all the storybooks, so we have 5 storybooks from the 5 states, 3 out of the 5 states were translated to indigenous languages. So that makes them 8. And these have been uploaded on Stand With A Girl initiative website, which is www.standwithagirl.org for the general public. And of course, the link will be shared with everyone attending this, and we'll have a follow-up email to say thank you for attending, but to also send the link to you so that you can feel free to share, to also read, and help you to make some decision from it. And we've also been in touch with the youth data advocates and also the adolescent debt officers who would also support in sharing the stories on all relevant state virtual platforms so that more young people can see them, more decision makers can have access to the storybooks. Also, the project was able, the team with the support of the state and everyone was able to develop a how-to guide on simplifying data for decision making. So perhaps you are an organization and you're wondering, how can we replicate the same? How can we adapt data made simple in any state in Nigeria or even in the world, whichever country? We've developed a how-to guide, and that guide really gives you a step-by-step way of doing it. And just know that we're also available in case you need technical assistance to be able to replicate the same. And lastly is to say that next year, as we look forward to 2022, we're looking at scaling up to 7 more states next year, hopefully. And at this point, I just want to say a very big thank you to Knowledge Success. Thank you for the technical assistance all through. Thank you for believing in the idea and supporting us throughout. Thank you to USAID for funding the project. It really goes a long way in showing your passion for adolescents and youth. Thank you to the Federal Ministry and the State Ministry of Health, as well as the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, to every young person, especially our youth data advocate. They put in so much hard work and commitment. To our development partners, most of you, the fact that you had been present in those states made it a soft landing for us. And we want to say thank you so very much for the work you continue to do for adolescents and youth. Thank you everyone who is attending this meeting. And we're glad that you're here. Kindly drop any comments, any question. At the end of today, we will take some questions. You probably would like to ask some more questions about the project. We're here to respond to them. Thank you so very much. We look forward to a time where every adolescent, just like our motto, no matter where they are born or found, are able to transit successfully into adulthood without any hindrance. And they're really able to be all that they've been created to be, have access, friendly access, equitable access to youth-friendly health services, including family planning access. Thank you very much. And at this point, I'm excited to invite Sadia, Halimatu Sadia Ochekliye, who is a program officer with Stand With a Girl initiative, to welcome our state actors as they by themselves tell you how much they know and will continue to do for the project. Thank you and welcome, Halimatu Sadia. Thank you again, Margaret, for all that. We have seen that Margaret has given us such an in-depth information on how the project has done so far, and we're so grateful to have that. Once again, I am Halimatu Sadia Ochekliye, and I am a program officer with Stand With a Girl initiative. Right now, we want to call on state actors who have been instrumental to the success of this project. We're calling them to share their success stories, and some of the state actors who would be speaking will be the State Monitoring and Evaluation Officer, the Adolescent Health Desk Officer, we have the Reproductive Health and Family Planning Coordinator, and Youth Data Advocates, for them to talk about how this Data Made Simple project has made an impact on their programming and actions going forward as it relates to adolescent and youth sexual and reproductive health. So let's hear from them. Welcome.
Simple DMS has changed our interaction with our stakeholders on adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health data in Niger State. Of course, yes. In the first place, the DMS has done a great job by translating Aysrh raw data into Storybook. In doing that, they made our communication of this data to stakeholders simple. You see, in the past, as an MIE supporting adolescent and youth sexual reproductive health, it was not easy to interpret raw data to the stakeholders. But now, with this storybook, every stakeholder can read and understand the problem of adolescents. It gives them the easy understanding of the information in this storybook, and that will prompt their fast action on these problems. So with that, the Niger State is appreciating Swagger initiative for implementing this project, DMS project in Niger State.
Yeah, one way DMS project has helped me in programming for adolescents and young people is that I can specifically speak to issues that affect young people and specifically plan for their reproductive and sexual health using the data I have. I can say that I've gotten specificity, clarity, and even granularity when it comes to adolescents and youth sexual and reproductive health in Edo State. These days, we don't have to speak generally. And now I can speak specifically to adolescents and young people's health, sexual and reproductive health in Edo State, and not state for the country or state for 15 to 49 years. So this helps me in advocating to key decision makers, in advocating for programs to be conducted. When I'm planning programs, I know that, oh, okay, since we have this data for adolescents and youth sexual reproductive health, I know specific programs to conduct. I can justify the fact that I am doing XYZ projects because I have specific data that speaks to adolescents and youth sexual reproductive health in Edo State.
We're able to understand some of the challenges we have as a state. By this will also help me to develop some silent data that I will bring them out in a form of story, share it use it during my advocacy to the stakeholders. And by this, the challenges that we discover, we have come out with a way forward that is just in our state, we only have 25 health facilities that are offering youth-friendly services, and also 25 providers. So I intend by this initiative to also scale up the training and also use this medium to also make the facilities favorable for the young people to have access to services and use.
Period of this workshop, I've been able to learn a lot. I've been able to explore the areas of knowledge management, how to simplify data to better understood by our targeted audience, and to also influence decisions. And I also intend to step down this training to my peers, champions like me, and also work with like-minded stakeholders, to bring data into simple forms that can actually influence decision around things.
These are really help us in the state and even broaden our knowledge and our thinking that we should find a way of communicating and engaging the youth more in the state. And much more, when the storybook was developed, some of my boss were even available, and they were so appreciative in seeing this storybook in the state. And now we want to incorporate this idea into some of our annual operational plan, so that when we are doing our adolescent, youth, and reproductive activities, we should be able to pass better and meaningful and simple information to the youth of the state. So once again, I want to say this development has really enhanced and developed the youth of the state to a progressive level. What I will say is that it shouldn't just end up there, but more should come up for the state, in which we'll be willing to partnership with a SWAG initiative. I will assure you that we are going to leverage on this and always ensure that we meet the need of our youth. So thank you once again, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and God bless you. God bless you all too. Thank you to our state actors for the hard work. You've put in so much work into this, and we are appreciative of that. And of course, for your commitment, and as you have said that going forward, you would be incorporating this into the annual operational plan. We're excited about this. This for us will go a long way in advocacy for adolescents and young people in the states. So everyone, I hope you're all having a good time, because this is the time we've all been waiting for. If you're ready, just drop on the chat box, ready. Someone is not ready. I am ready. Okay, if you're ready, can you see it? Hello? Yes, thank you, Anne. Anne is ready. Any other person ready? This is the time we've all been waiting for. We want to officially launch our Data Made Simple Storybooks. And we would like to welcome, to do this, we'll be having from the Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Amina Mohammed. She's the Deputy Director and also the Head Coordinating Unit, Head of ASH Branch, Family Health Department, Federal Ministry of Health. Please, let's welcome Dr. Amina Mohammed. You're welcome, Ma. Thank you. Dr. Amina, please, Ma, kindly unmute yourself. We're waiting for you. This is the time we've all been waiting for. Please, Ma, if you're here. Okay, Ma. Please kindly unmute yourself. Thank you for sending in your comments on the chat box. I can see that you all are ready. We are equally ready. So please, let's quickly wait for Dr. Amina Mohammed. Okay, I think she's up already.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Ma. Yes, Ma, we can hear you.
All protocols duly observed. I am happy to be part of this occasion of the book launch and dissemination of Aysrh Storybooks, Data Made Simple. This is actually in line with the mandate of the Federal Ministry of Health, which is to disseminate appropriate information to empower our young people to make decisions and initiate action that improves their health and well-being generally. And we know that we cannot achieve the SDG without proper investment into our young ones, which population made up about 22% of the population of Nigeria and contribute 40% to maternal mortality rate in the country. So I actually want to appreciate SWAG for this wonderful initiative of making information simple for decision making for our young people. And on behalf of my head of department, Dr. Salma Anas Kulu, my head of division, Dr. Chris Oboko, and the team in the Federal Ministry of Health, we sincerely appreciate this gesture, and we urge that the states, the 5 states involved in this, will sustain this initiative even down to the local government level, closer to the population, where 70% of our population are. Thank you for having me, and we look forward to further engagement.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amina. So may I say that it's official. We are ready to give you our storybooks, and they are ready to go up. And like Margaret said earlier, that we'll be having the storybooks on our websites or SWAG websites. Please check on the chat box. The website, the link to the website will be dropped where you can have access to the storybooks. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome Solomon, even as he takes your comments, your reactions, And if you have questions and clarifications, of course, we would like to hear from you, because we know that you are curious to know what the storybooks look like. But if you want to read them, you can go on our website to read them. But we, of course, we welcome your questions. We welcome your comments. And if you want to say hello to us, well, welcome. We want to see you talk. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. So we'd like you to, my name is Solomon once again. We'd like you to drop your comments for your contributions. If you have any feedback you'd like to give us regarding our beautiful storybooks, now is the time to do so. If you'd like to speak as well, you can raise your hand, and I'll allow you to have the floor. If you have any comments, if you have any contributions, thank you. Besides the comments and contribution, if you have any commitments as well from our partners, from our stakeholders, as regards to our storybook, you can also share with us. Okay, from Pam Devo, that is HDO from Plateau State. She commented that our storybooks are beautiful and also good for school library. Thank you, Mrs. Pam. Also, I think I have one from Fatima Mohammed here. She says, congratulations to all the teams for making it a success. Thank you, Fatima. From Sholanke Olushola, she said, congratulations to the SWAG initiative team, the FMOH, Niger, Plateau, Edo, Ogun, and Taraba states. Thank you, Sholanke. Then from Cynthia, nice storybook. Please, we'll really appreciate NDHS secondary analysis step down. Thank you for that. Let's keep the comments rolling in. Let's keep the contributions rolling in. Okay, I think there's participants who have raised their hands up.
Hi, Solomon.
Hi, please go ahead.
Okay. Yes.
All right,
yes.
go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not able to turn on my video, but
That's fine.
I wanted to just congratulate the SWAG team on this very impressive project. And I had a question that was triggered by the comment from, I think it was Unvu, about how these storybooks will be good for school libraries. So I'm curious to hear, have you all considered how you will disseminate these books in secondary schools, public and private secondary schools or primary schools in Nigeria? Any considerations towards that? But once again, very impressive project, and I'm really excited for this launch event. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Onyinye. Thank you so much. Your question is noted. I think we'll just take all the questions now. Let's have Patricia speak, please. You can unmute yourself. Patricia. Are you there, Patricia?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, you're welcome.
I want to say a very big thank you to Margaret and the SWAG initiative. We in Edo, are very impressed.
Thank you so much. Please go ahead. Patricia, are you still
about this whole eyes, particularly who develop our state. You said?
Please
yes, that I said in Edo, particularly for us in Edo, that we are impressed. Haven't been able to develop our situation into a storybook, and we hope that as we move on, we'll be able to disseminate this to our people, both in the schools and even in the community. For those that are schooled, at least parents can also read it and benefit from it. And from there, they can give one or two advice to their children and guardians. Thank you very much, Margaret and your team. God bless you.
Well, thank you so much, Patricia, for that beautiful commitment. That's a very good step forward. And this will also help in our sustainability plan. We are so happy to hear that. And we'll be looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Patricia, once again. I will also read some few comments here. I have one from Samson Babalola. It says, kudos to the SWAG team for the job well done. This is a laudable initiative. I hope this will not stop here, but hopefully be extended to other states of the nation. Yeah, definitely we're going to do that in 2022. Thank you so much, Samson. I also have one from Fatima Mohammed. Okay. I'll take from Nuruddin Dairu instead. It said, looking at the indices of out-of-school children, is there any plans to move down to Northwest states? Okay, that's a question from Nuruddin Dairu. That is noted, thank you. I would like to call on Dr. Bright. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Dr. Bright. You're welcome.
It's good to be in this dissemination meeting right from the onset. It's good to be that we were part of those who actually developed it and seeing our efforts actually manifesting into a document that we cannot even speak or say where it will get to. It is something that we are very, very happy about. And like I did promise, we'll do our best to ensure that the storybook actually gets to the appropriate targets as the case may be. And I also want to state here for the technical working group and even for the Ministry of Health, we have already started demonstrating our support to this storybook. We have been able to visit some stakeholders to share the storybook with them, and they were very, very happy with the initiative. And we know we'll continue to reach out to more persons with the book. So I want to congratulate the SWAG team and pledge our support. It is something that is very, very good and we are supporting it. Well, the content I have, I think I made some on the private chats. You just look at that and we can all work together on it. So on this note, I want to congratulate every one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bright. Thank you so much for your contribution through the dissemination process. We are really, really grateful here from SWAG. I will just read a few more comments before we go. From Aysrh Sedika, the Ministry of Education in Niger State so loved the storybook and says it is a very good teaching guide. Thank you so much, Aysrh, for that contribution. From Anas Mohammed, he also says, congratulations to the SWAT team and a very big thank you to each and every one of us for making it successful. Thank you so much for all these beautiful comments, for all the wonderful comments. And for the questions, I would like to call on Mercy to take over.
Okay, thank you, everyone. This is Margaret Bolaji Adebola, and we're so happy that you're able to stay with us till this time. We're very grateful to you. And again, it is not just congratulations to SWAG. We're very humbled to have been able to spearhead this, but it was really done by the state, and to say congratulations to all the states that partook in this. We look forward to working in other states. And just to quickly respond to Onyinye's question about providing in a secondary school, whether the library. So part of what we had also discussed was commitment from the youth data advocate to say we can take it to school. In fact, some have even gone ahead to say beyond just distributing the storybooks, we can stage a play that then introduces the storybooks, but then they can read more in the storybooks. So, and at this point, I think it's also an opportunity to enjoin everyone. We have the soft copy on our website. We'll be sharing the link, and I believe it's also been shared on the chat room with everyone. Please publicize it, send it to somebody. You just never can tell. You might just be helping an adolescent translate successfully into adulthood and be able to make the right decision. So we are looking up to everyone to supporting us, partners, donors, to be able to spread this message across board. And Nuruddin asks about North Central, why we can particularly make, North West rather, make a commitment, but we're looking forward to reaching additional 7 states. And I can almost be very sure that states in Northwest are part of the state we'll be reaching out to next year by God's grace. So thank you very much, everyone. Let's keep sharing the word. Let's ensure that we're sharing it on our different youth groups and making sure that people have access to it. At this point, if you will indulge me to put on your cameras, if you can, and let's take a picture. And just as we wrap up and say thank you to everyone for being part of this dissemination.